They open the Kokugikan doors to a crisp March breeze these days, and I'm sure at least one wrestler doesn't notice. This is Sergei Sokolovsky from the Ukraine, ring name Shishi, making his Division 3 debut today against a 26-year-old from sunny Okinawa, Chionokatsu. Well, that was quite some ending, and one I don't expect to find in the sumo textbook. Okay, that final devastating outside left was what Shishi was hoping for from the start, his head leaning way over to that side. But Katsu's frontal left does tremendously to reel him in. The right goes in, Shishi clamps and wrenches upwards, then seeks the right outside grip, but to no avail. There's some good movement here to sidestep, press down from the left, parry with the right, then knock upwards to try and set up a slapdown. And you can also see he's trying to do something with the head, which will become clear shortly. Chionokatsu sticks well to that elbow, limiting its freedom, then slips out from the right to mount an upward and angled assault. A lighter man might fly sideways, but Shishi's huge thighs and right knee recover, allowing him another shot at the head trick. He more than feels Katsu trying to slant drill underneath him, so he rams his head in lower, forcing his foe to go lower still, but exposing his back to a slap forward, bringing the belt straight to his outside left. Now it's a battle for the inside leg, and Katsu, fittingly given his name, thinks he can still win by throwing over the right knee. The Ukrainian, however, needs his left knee in that same spot, and he ensures it gets there by reeling Katsu in sideways over the outer knee, then changing tack to throw towards the inner knee, with only half the ball of his foot as a pivot, which is why it looks so awkward. The ringside face of Tennozan sums it up. It's not what they taught me, but as for the sheer power, holy something. Only 2 men have ever beaten the Zaporizhian giant in competition, one of them being Hakuho's yet larger student, 2-meter-plus Hokuseiho. 21-0 in the professional ranks, the 19-year-old pledged to win the title at every level and beat Jo Koryu's record of 27 straight wins from debut. But, as he waited at ringside today, we noticed 2 things. His first top knot, overshadowed by a huge amount of taping on his back. Yes, I hurt it in training after the interstable practice last month, he confessed, referencing the event at which he'd performed so well. I could still do some practice bouts, but it's difficult to generate power. Not the best lead-in then to this bout against his toughest foe yet, Toki Sakae, with 4 years of university sumo under his belt. And there it is! The cameras flash because history is made. Hokuseiho's first matchday defeat, and to one of the smallest men in the division. No injury excuses, I'm weak and I failed to take his belt, was Hokuseiho's philosophical response. The streak is over, that's a fact, I just want to move on now. His condition looks a bit worrying though, doesn't it? Now, how is January's blubbery sensation Akiseyama doing? Very well, in fact. After easily outcharging Kotoshoho yesterday, he today chased a second straight win against Terutsuyoshi, who, as ever, tried to give the dohyo a feldspar crystal motif. In brief, if the guy's fighting left foot forward and using the right arm to block your inside left, try the left clamp, and when he turns to wriggle out, drive your left leg forward and nudge him over the rope. That's now 11 wins from his past 17 bouts at this level he's barely tasted in his long career thus far. After defeat to Mitake Umi yesterday, Shodai begged his negative self not to despair and focus on getting off the mark quickly. Opposing him today, and by the looks of things most of the crowd too, was the man who lost to Takakeisho yesterday, Onosho. Shodai's neck is like a large coiled spring. The moment you let go, it expands at force and you better not be hit. I just couldn't make my frame compact enough throughout and stretched out too much, Onosho explained. Still some stiffness, said Shodai, but I drove forward solidly to the ring's edge, right? It's great not to start with 2 losses, I can tell you. Keen to say the same was Daieisho, crushed out by Hakuho in yesterday's closer. And for the second day 2 running, it was Eisho versus Keisho, with the promise of thrusting fireworks, and in front of an interested observer. Here's how it exploded. Well, that was almost like a tribute to the late Marvin Hagler. Keep up pressure, work the body, stun with the right, then down him with the left. The Ozeki's balance also looking far more solid. He's sure got ability, so I wanted to charge in really hard, Takakeisho said. I wanted to jump in first and attack, but ended up fighting his fight, Daieisho bemoaned. And my Tachi-ai was no good either. His hunt for a first win resumes against Terunofuji. We finish, as we simply must, with the man with the wobbly sword-bearer. Today, up against his ex-sword-bearer, Takarafuji. And he's just done a Shishi without the belt. In fact, he's done it better. Staking everything on this move because it's by far the best one left, really digging in with the ball of his left foot while ensuring the right is nice and wide and slightly back to throw cleanly across his chest. The free hand on the neck for insurance. Now, Hakuho is far too focused on his fighting right now to bother with interviews, but his actions alone speak volumes as to how invested in this tournament he is. If he stays fit, he should win the whole thing. But these winning moves are laden with risk. He knows full well that we've a long way to go yet.